This is Healing at Soul Level with your host, Shawna Williams. Shawna is here to provide various forms of healing that are non-invasive, that promote relaxation and aid the body in naturally healing itself by using ancient healing techniques that have been around for centuries. So please welcome the host of Healing at Soul Level, Shawna Williams.
Hello, and welcome to Healing at Soul Level. I'm your host, Shawna Williams. Rodika Tchi has studied with several Feng Shui masters and has a professional certification from the Tchi International Feng Shui and Geobiology Institute. Along with being the longtime Feng Shui expert for Spruce.com, she has taught Feng Shui workshops at the University of British Columbia. Through her business, Tchi Consulting, she has been consulting for both residential and commercial spaces in Vancouver, British Columbia, as well as long distance for over 18 years. Thank you for joining me today, Rodika.
Yes, you're more than welcome, Shawna.
Okay, so how are you today?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yes, I am. I have been interested in Feng Shui for a little bit, but I don't know very much about it at all. So this is going to be a big learning experience for me as well. So I think we'll start off. I'd like to know how you got involved with it.
I have been doing it unconsciously or subconsciously my whole life since I was little. And then in my early 20s, a friend of mine sent me an article that actually talked about Feng Shui. I believe it was Woman's First magazine or something like that, just to prove that something like, hey, you're not crazy. This is actually something serious. So that was the beginning of a conscious exploration, where I thought, wow, what I'm doing actually has a history and a background to it. So that was the turning point when I started looking for teachers. And my first training was in energy healing. And that's when he was talking about Feng Shui again as an energy art, not just moving furniture around and bringing colors. So that was my beginning. From day on, I trained with several teachers. And then I found the teacher that captivated me the most. It was a very incredibly inspiring and wise Chinese master. So, yes, that's the answer to your question.
Yes. So,
yeah, I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Oh, yes, it does. So I didn't understand. Yeah. I didn't really realize that it was more of an energy thing. So how does that work? I mean, is it so when you set things certain areas, it makes the energy flow better, or how does that work?
Yeah, it works on many levels, Shawna, right? So many people, when they hear about Feng Shui for the first time, they'll probably think of chimes and wind frogs and bringing money quickly. Also, there's so many levels that Feng Shui works. On a deep level, in its essence, Feng Shui is energy work, because one of the best definitions of Feng Shui I found or I've come across is this acupuncture of the space. So basically, like we have acupuncture in the body, move the energy in the body and you feel healthier and you just feel more wholesome, right? Life flows easier for you. The same happens with the space. So the way it works is each space has its own intelligence, so to speak, or energy needs. And Feng Shui comes with a clear map, which is very complex, but again, it has many levels on how to adjust this how to make this relationship work, because we all have to live in we all have to have homes unless we travel all the time, and even then we still do. So Feng Shui adjusts the home to your own energy level so that your life works better. To put it very simply, yeah? That's how it works. And so that's the essence of it. But the way to achieve that is that you work with actual physical items. You work with colors and furniture and things from nature. And there's an abundance of items called Feng Shui cures, which are mostly, many of them are modern decor items. So it might seem like it's superficial, but it works on deep energy level to enhance your own energy, the lives of people who live there in the home.
Oh, okay. So is it more difficult to get a better Feng Shui if there's, more people within the house, or does it kind of flow, just for everybody?
That's a very good question, Shawna. Very good question. It's definitely harder to make it work for more people. Just like it's harder to cook a meal for more people, right? It's like it's easier for one, it's harder for five because we all have preferences. So in Feng Shui, people are, how would I say, defined by their energy needs in several ways, and one of them by their birth elements. So there's fire people and wood people and metal people and so on. There are 5 elements. So you have to make the space work for each one of them, as well as for them as a family, if it's a family. And from my own experience, I worked in so many homes. It's certainly harder to make it work for 5 people than even for 2, or especially for 1. 1 is very easy. So yeah, good question. Yeah.
Okay, so you said it's like you check on their birth day or their birth month?
Yeah. So it's called the personal Feng Shui birth element, and there are 5 elements in Feng Shui, and the element is defined by their year of birth. Although the year of birth in Chinese calendar is slightly different, right? So let's say if you are a fire person, you would need a specific environment to enhance your well-being. So you would probably, if you think of fire in nature, what extinguishes fire, destroys it is water, right? So to put down the fire, we use water. So let's say if we take a fire person and put them in a water environment, which would be lots of blue colors and lots of mirrors and maybe fountains, they will not do so well, because their essence is a fire element. Just think in terms of natural elements, needs to be supported in a different way. So that's a slightly deeper level, but I have a lot of information about it online, so people can explore it. They can find out their own element. They can see how to decorate, and they can experiment, because you should always play. You know, there are rules in Feng Shui, but your heart or your inner guidance is the first rule. So you play and you see, oh, that works, or oh, that doesn't. So to answer your question, yes, you find your personal element by your year of birth, and then you see what does Feng Shui say about it. Or you think about it in nature. Let's say I'm Earth. I'm an Earth element, so Earth is nourished by fire. And I know very well environments that make me feel nourished and calm and happy and supported. And also environments that might look pretty, but don't do so well there long term. So it's a deeper complex. Thank you for a deeper level. Thank you for asking the question. And it's all there if people want to explore it.
So maybe there's like an element of astrology in it. At least that's what I'm kind of getting.
There is a so-called Feng Shui astrology called 9 Stucky. It's slightly different. It's slightly different. I mean, you could say yes, right? Because it's based on your year of birth. So yeah, in a way, for sure. Sure. But that's where it ends. You just you find out based on astrology. Let's put it this way. And then you just go into the elements, the 5 elements. And the 5 elements is one of the main theories of Feng Shui. Because Feng Shui believes that everything around us was created by these elements. So some of us have more of those elements than others. And you know that, let's say we see very fiery people, or people that are very precise and clear, or people that are very creative. We're very different, right? So it's just another way of maybe identifying people's energetic needs and helping them be their best.
Okay, so of course I don't know a lot about it, but I would guess that I would probably be a water person, because I like things that are calm.
So you can check it online. I can send you the link. You can check it online very easily. I have a chart where you can see it for you and your family. Yeah. And from there you go see what elements nourish you and how to express these elements in your environment with colors and art and just simple things that look harmonious in your home. You don't need to bring any exotic or unknown so-called Feng Shui cures.
Okay, well, we're going to talk more about this when we get back. We're going to stop and take a quick break. Welcome back to Healing at Soul Level, and I'm your host, Shawna Williams. Today, we're talking with Rodika Tchi about Feng Shui, and we left off, we were talking about the 5 elements of Feng Shui, and she was saying that you could just look it up online to find out what your element is. Is that correct? And practice on doing Feng Shui?
Everybody can look it up online, yes. I mean, it's for the ease. I have the information online, yes.
Okay. Now, when I was looking up information about Feng Shui, I heard about Bagua. I kind of understood it a little bit, but could you explain it a little more?
Yes, yes. So Bagua is the Feng Shui energy map. So it's the map that shows you which areas of your home are connected to specific areas of your life. And literally translated, Bagua means 8 areas. So that's how ancient Feng Shui masters defined the relationship between your body or your human beings and their environment. And there are 2 Baguas which create a lot of confusion, but that's the second step. If people want to explore, I have info about that too. So basically, this is the energy map. And when you want to work deeper with Feng Shui, and by deeper I mean you've cleaned your house of clutter, your house is more or less fresh and clean, and you want to look deeper. Let's say you want to improve your career. And this is where the map will tell you, okay, your career is in this specific area, and this is what your career needs. Again, talking about elements, the first element it needs is water, and you express it with mirrors and colors, black and gray and white and blue. So the map is just like any map. When you go travel, you need to go to a certain destination. The same with the Bagua. You have a certain goal. There are different areas. There's health area, there's children and creativity, there is personal growth. So it shows you how to get where you want to be, basically, to put it in very simple terms.
Okay.
It's an ancient tool, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, okay, when I think about it, I kind of learned this little thing that you can tell me if this is Bagua. So when I walk into my house, they told me that wealth was like in my, I want to say southeast part of my house or the southeast part of a room. Is that the same thing?
Yes, yes. So there are 2 Baguas. One, you run the so-called classical Bagua. And the classical Bagua works with directions. That's where he said the wealth is in the southeast, the career is in the north, the love is in the southwest. And the other type of Bagua, which was brought later into the States, typically called the Western Bagua, but it's based on a Tibetan school. This Bagua just works with the actual space without considering the direction. So the fame area is always the one facing you. The money area is always the one further to the left and so on. So to answer your question, yes, you were told about one Bagua, the classical Bagua, and then there's another Bagua. There are 2 different ways you can use this tool.
Oh, okay. That explains it better. Now I understand, because they didn't have a name for it. They just said, this is how you find, these areas. And I believe it was telling me to put crystals in certain areas to help amplify the energy within that area.
Yeah, crystals always do that, right? But crystals as an earth element are best to not have in large quantities in areas that do not like the earth element. So here we come back to the 5 elements theory, right? Let's say if we talk about the career area, which is water, you would probably need a lot of crystals there. But we speak about a big presence of crystals, not just a few, right? It's all a matter of proportions. Right. But certainly crystals are an amazing Feng Shui cure and item to bring into your home. Yes, they amplify the energy, they clear it, they bring so much beauty. Yes.
Oh, yes. I like crystals. I have crystals in my house. I try and make sure I keep them separate, because I know sometimes the energies can cancel out something else. So, but I may not have them in the correct areas. So that's something I'll have to check on.
Yeah, you can play with them or check online for sure. Check to see. Yeah. It's always, I've been doing Feng Shui for so long, and obviously I work on deep levels when I work with clients, but when I teach or when I write, I always encourage people to start with basics, and to trust their own inner guidance, because there's so much confusion about Feng Shui, and I don't know if listeners would know a lot about it or just starting to explore it, but you have to start with being in an empowered state. And just like you said, you're not sure if they're in the right places. What I would suggest, you first ask yourself, where would this like to go? Or you ask your house, because you have to establish a good relationship before being Feng Shui. Clutter, clear up, and just have a good, loving relationship with your house before being any theory or any rules or any guidelines,
Yeah.
I thought I should mention that. Yes.
No, that's wonderful. That's wonderful to let people, sometimes people forget to do that first. So that's wonderful to remind people to do that.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to try and do a calming, stress-free household, how would I do that?
Good question. Good question. Well, the first thing is I know most people absolutely don't like hearing that. And I actually had one of my very first clients almost, 20 years ago. I remember her so clearly when I said, so her basement was full of clutter. And we started talking and I said, well, this is one of the first things you have to do. It has to be clear. She goes, oh, no. If this has to be done, I would never achieve good feng shui. I still remember that. This was my first lesson into how much clutter we have in, Western spaces and how tremendously hard this is. So even though I know that, I had to bring this story in, I still have to keep saying that the first step is to get rid of your clutter, because clutter is not only draining the energy from your space and making it just sucks all the good energy. It also stores all your emotions, all your unprocessed emotions and fears and stubbornness and sadness. There's a lot of stuff there. So to create a stressful environment, you have to let go of clutter, and you can do that in stages. Nobody says do it right away, and it's hard to do that. I admit, even though I always emphasize that, I also accept and I know that this is hard, but this is the first step, and do it in stages. And there's a whole system, how to do that. And again, I have lots of suggestions online. But number one, look at your clutter, accept that you have it, and make a plan to get rid of it. Don't pretend it's not there. Don't stuff it under the bed. Don't, close the closet doors and think it's done. It's not done. Number one. Number two, you have to bring fresh energy. And you can do it at the same time, right? So it's how clean is the air that you breathe? Do you have plants in your space? Do you have colors? Do you actually feel happy? Because when it comes down to it, fresh, happy, good feng shui energy is something we all know on a feeling level.
Yes.
So to create a stress-free environment, you bring the opposite of what creates stress. So you bring, let's say, a picture of a beautiful landscape or picture of places you traveled and you love them, and put them in give them good space in your room, maybe have big pictures on your wall, or bring, like you said, you have crystals in your home, bring pictures of loved ones. So bring beauty into your home. You clear out the space, you bring beauty into your home. So you start with that. You start with very basics and you're consistent with it. And then you can go into deeper feng shui levels. Yeah.
Oh, great. That was real good. I was check marking things that I need to do to make sure. We're going to stop right here and take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Hello, and welcome back to Healing at Soul Level. I'm your host, Shawna Williams. Today, my guest is Rodika Tchi, and we are talking about Feng Shui. So during the break, Rodika told me that Feng Shui, like colors, is big in Feng Shui. And my house, like every room has colors. Like my walls are kind of a gold yellow color, and I've got the red colors. It's not bright red. It's more of a clay color, and blues. I just love colors. So how does that help out with Feng Shui?
Yeah, as we were talking about the light, right? We started with light, and you said you love light, and I mentioned, this is a very good point, because light, I mentioned John Ott, which is, he was a scientist, but he basically said that light is our number one nutrient. And so we need light, sunlight, full spectrum light. He was one of the inventors of full spectrum lighting, I believe. I know. So Feng Shui suggests, of course, light is big. Light, fresh air, those are the basics. And Feng Shui is big on color, because when you bring a lot of colors in your space, you not only bring certain elements, but you also bring a nutrition for your body. Think about it when we were children and we play, when you go to any daycare, a good and, a healthy one, there's lots of color there, and children love colors. They play with all of them. They don't think, is that the current trend, or am I looking good by using those colors, or do they go together? They just use colors because it's an expression of vibrant energy. So I'm not suggesting to make your house wild on color unless you want it, unless it makes you happy. I am suggesting to bring to allow yourself to experience color in your space, not only because it looks good, but because your energy needs that. But especially if you live in climates where there's not a lot of sunlight, or if you go through, months of less light, color is necessary in your space. And for the best feng shui use of color is based on the Bagua, as we spoke before. It's based on the energy map, where you can actually enhance the energy on a deeper level and enhance your life if you use color in specific areas. So let's say north area loves blues and blacks, and south area loves fiery colors, which are red and yellow and purple. And that's a slightly deeper level. But I always encourage people that don't have much color in their space to just come on, just bring some color. Any color that you love, start there.
That's so funny when you just said that, because I have blue in my office, which is facing north, and then the south part of my house has the red and the yellow. And that was just
excellent. See, you've done it right.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's great. That was kind of natural.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, exactly. It comes back to following your guidance, right? As we spoke before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So is there like a such thing also as personal colors, like colors that I should wear or something like that?
That's a good question. So as we spoke before about the personal birth element, remember when we spoke about that? So if you are a fire, you'll find out. I'll send you the link. You can find out very quick. You would wear colors that support your element. So for example, I am earth, as I mentioned, and earthy colors of warm fire colors are best for me. You know, I love blue colors. I love sky blue colors, but I wouldn't wear them a lot because my energy doesn't feel so good in it, you know. Or I love whites, but I don't wear all whites because, again, that's a metal color and that weakens my energy. So, yes, to answer your question, there are certainly better colors that would nourish your element.
Naturally, sometimes, you pick colors that just look better. It seems like with yourself, does that kind of probably go together with your intuition and Feng Shui?
Oh, definitely. And it also goes, this is just like a guideline, but it doesn't mean you have to follow it rigidly, right? I never suggest following any Feng Shui rules rigidly. And we have days when we may need certain colors more than others, right? So your intuition will tell you. You always have to listen to your own energy, guidance, or inner compass, or call it whatever it is, right? Your body's speaking to you all the time. Yeah.
And so that would be the same thing for maybe your front door, depending on which area it's facing or which direction it's facing, on which color you might do. Does that include inside or just outside?
So there's several questions in one. Yes, very good ones.
Oh, sorry.
The front door, to define the Bagua of your home, the first thing, the classical Bagua, take the compass reading of your front door. And the best color of your front door is defined by the element of that specific compass direction.
Okay.
So if you have a south-facing door, you would have fire colors. So the same principle applies if you were speaking about your office, right? If you have a north-facing door, you'll have blues and blacks for water element. And the second part of your question was if we have inside, does it apply inside or outside? Then yes, it does.
Okay.
It's in a specific Bagua area, yeah.
Okay. Because the inside of my door is black. The outside is white or cream because that's what it came as, but then I have green like trim around it.
Which direction?
Oh, I'm sorry. It faces north.
North. So white is good for north and black is very good for north. Green, not so much, but if it's just a detail, that's okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Those are good colors for north. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just starting to get this, get this down a little.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I also saw, like for instance, if I was going to buy land somewhere, and I could pick my numbers, there's certain house numbers for certain areas would be good as well.
Did you say land? Did you say land or house? I think I've heard you say land.
Land, like if I bought land so that I could build a house on it.
Okay. Yeah.
And then maybe the land has not already had numbers assigned. Maybe I could decide which numbers that would be best for my house.
Well, I have a lot of info on that online too, because there's quite a bit of misunderstanding about Feng Shui. Well, there is the field of numerology, right? So you can go really deep there and find out your best numbers. Feng Shui-wise, of course, numbers have a meaning, and the most feared number is number 4 for some reason.
Okay, number 4.
Maybe we can.
We'll talk about that one real quick when we come back. We're going to stop and take a quick break. Hello and welcome back to Healing at Soul Level. And I'm your host, Shawna Williams. Today we're talking with Rodika Tchi about Feng Shui. And when we left off, we were talking about numbers in Feng Shui. And I believe you said something about the number 4.
Yes. When it comes to the Feng Shui of numbers, number 4 has the worst reputation. And basically, just because in Cantonese 4 sounds like death. So that's why you might encounter people saying, oh, no 4 in my address. Which, when you think about it, 4 for us is not a bad number because we have 4 directions, we have 4 seasons. So the first point to know in the Feng Shui of numbers is to apply it intelligently when you see the warnings about number 4. And then there are just the energy of numbers. The so-called best Feng Shui numbers are 8 and 9. 8 is the infinity number, right? And 9 is the highest number. So, of course, you would want those numbers probably in an address. Number 1 is a wonderful number. So you can play with that. That's a whole field that you can go deeper with. But from my point of view, if you were to buy a land, I would certainly pay way more attention at the land and at the house than at the numbers. I mean, we can play with numbers, right?
Yes.
But it's not that they fully define the energy of the space, not at all. They do. They have their own signature, energy signature.
So it'd be better if I use Feng Shui to lay out where I want, like my kitchen or my bathroom within my house.
Did you say how to use Feng Shui? I didn't hear you fully.
Oh, I'm sorry. So it would probably be better if I did have land to use Feng Shui in the placement of my kitchen or my bathroom or my bedroom.
Absolutely. Oh, most certainly, most certainly. You would study the land, first of all. You would feel the energy of the land and the movement of the sun and the vegetation and think, oh, where does the, most of the light come in and where do I want most of the light? So you would most definitely first define the movement of the space. Where is the dining and the kitchen and the bedroom, which is, it's very important. And the front door, yes, for sure. The numbers come way later.
Yes, way later. Well, that's good. Good information. And I know one thing that a lot of people probably use Feng Shui for is to attract money, right?
Yeah, attract money or attract love, yeah.
Okay. So if I wanted to attract money, I could still use the same elements you were talking about, but can I use that on something like, say, I don't know, my wallet, I guess my wallet color or my purse or where I set my money or something like that? Yeah.
Well, you'll apply it to... You'll start with yourself, your thoughts, your energy, like what you're thinking of, what you want. Then your colors you wear, your wallet. You can choose the wallet color the same way as your personal colors, based on your own element. And then you could work with your money area. And there are actually 5 money areas, and I have a whole book about it, and I don't want to confuse people. But you start with the first money area, which, as you mentioned, is southeast. If you work with the classical Bagua, and you would bring this area loves the wood element and the water and the earth. You would bring, that's where fountains are beautiful, mirrors, some images of wealth that speak to you of wealth. So that might be, I remember I had a client recently, they love sailing, right? So that's a beautiful image to have there because it's water and it shows them what they love to do, and it's, you need a certain life for this lifestyle too. So you would express what money and wealth means to you in specific colors. And, you have to, that's why I said it starts with your thoughts and your energy, and then you express it in your home so it supports it and attracts it. But you do it in the language of Feng Shui elements. Yeah.
That's very interesting. That's a good idea. Figure out what you love in that area. Okay. So like as I change, maybe my taste change or things that I change, once I place a Feng Shui element or, design a room into a Feng Shui, do I need to redo that at certain times or change that up every so often?
That's a good question. So several answers to this question. Number one, it is always, Feng Shui is about energy, right? Mm-hmm. And energy is never stagnant. It changes all the time. So even if you had an amazing Feng Shui consultant do your home, you still have to maintain it. You don't need to change it radically maybe, but you have to keep it up. Mm-hmm. Keep the energy fresh, number one. Number two, there is a school that I write about it every year because it changes every year. It's called the Flying Stars Feng Shui School. And this school talks about the movement of energies. So if you want to apply it, many people do, that's where every year you will apply certain things. But this can be confusing, and I don't suggest it for beginners. And it's not really necessary if you're just starting. What is necessary is to establish a healthy, empowering, and loving relationship with your home. You know, like with your best friend. You have to have it. If you don't have this, no Feng Shui is going to help you. You know, we can't just come there with the rules and tell the house, you be this, and you be this, and you do this for me, because it's not going to work.
Right.
It's
Oh, okay.
Basically, because everything is energy. You want to start with a clear, loving, accepting foundation. And then you bring the guidelines, not the other way around.
Right.
It's like if you have a relationship with someone, you don't tell them what to do right away. You accept who they are, and then you say, well, I would like this and this and that. You know, so, yeah.
Yeah, you don't come with demands right away, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I see people doing that all the time. It doesn't work this way. I mean, everything is alive around you. You might see walls and doors, but everything is energy. It's in your own interest to love it and to have a good relationship with it.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, that's true. You did mention that you wrote about this in your book. What is your how many books do you have, or do you tell me about your books?
I have one book published by a publisher in the States. It was published in December last year. It's a book on smudging and cleansing ritual for one's home. So it's in all major bookstores or on Amazon online. You can find it, or anywhere online.
Let's talk. We're going to talk about that when we come back. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll go into a little more detail. Welcome back to Healing at Soul Level. I'm your host, Shawna Williams. Today, we're talking about Feng Shui with my guest, Rodika Tchi. We left off talking about a book that she has just published in December, so it's just hot off the press. And what was the name of the book again?
Yeah, the book is called The Healing Power of Smudging, Cleansing Ritual to Purify Your Home and Attract Peace into your home, peace and good energy into your home. And you can find it in all major bookstores or online. And then I have a few ebooks. So I mentioned the money area. When you asked me about the money area, I have one about the 5 Feng Shui money areas, how to strengthen those areas. And I have a bigger book on how to bring luck to your door, basically how to attract good energy into your home, because that would be the first step when you're applying Feng Shui. And I have a smaller book on main entry. Yeah, so those 3 are ebooks. I published them myself. And the first one that just recently was published is published by a publisher in the state called Ulysses Press.
Okay. So are these located on your website?
Yeah, on rodikatchi.com.
Okay.
Yes.
And for everybody, that is RODIKATCHI, correct?
.com.
Okay.
Correct.
.com. Good. Because I know people will be like, okay, well, what is cheese? Is it QI? Is it CHI? What is this?
I know. Yeah.
So, yeah. let's see. So healing power of smudging. So that's probably the first thing you should do. At least that's what I did before I started any type of feng shui, is to make sure that the space was clear. And you can use smoke and I know there's sprays and what other?
Yeah. So I tell everything people how to smudge if they want to smudge, and how to make their own smudge sticks, and when to smudge, and smudging for specific purpose. But I also do recognize that many people don't like smudging and don't like smoke. So I give them alternatives, right? From Palo Santo. I don't know if you're familiar with Palo Santo. It's a beautiful.
Yes, I have some. I like that.
Yeah. Or incense. Or then you can use liquid smudging, which is basically making air sprays. So you can work with sound. So the focus is on clearing the energy in your space. Of course, it's a lot about smudging, but I do give alternatives, because smudging is not that easy for the beginner, or it takes some time to ease into it. Yeah. It's a powerful tool. I love smudging. Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah.
I actually love the smell of the
No, me
smoke.
too. I love it. I adore it.
The Palo Santo too. I was like, oh, this is wonderful. That's the little wood stick, right?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. I first experienced Palo Santo when I was in Ecuador, and I was like, what is that? It was so incredible. And they were not selling it in the States yet, or in Canada. And I brought some sticks with me, and I was cherishing them for so long. I would just use a little bit, because it was, it's incredible. They use it for healing there, right? Shamans use it, clearing energy. So it smells amazing, but it's also very powerful.
Yes, I really like that. And I did not know that there was such thing as sound smudging. Is that like with did you say sound smudging?
Oh, no. Sorry, it's clearing with sound.
Oh,
sound clearing. Because the focus is on clearing the energy, right? So you clear it with sound. But I mentioned liquid smudging,
yes,
which is just another term for air sprays or using essential oils.
Yes, I actually have a spray that I made for smudging, so that if I cannot use smoke, I'll use that as well in a room.
Right. What oils do you have there? What oils do you use in it?
I would have to look that up again, but I know I use sage, and I also have a crystal selenite. Did I say that? Yes.
Oh, I love selenite. Yeah.
Yeah, I put that in the bottle as well. And I think I have maybe 2 more oils in there, but I can't remember them at this time.
Yeah, they're very easy to use, right? So convenient. You can use it in a car. In an office, you can use a spray, because you wouldn't smudge in an office, right?
Yes.
But you can quickly refresh the energy with an air spray, so very convenient. Yeah.
Yes, and it works. Anybody listening, it works, because I walked into a room and I could immediately feel that people had just had an argument, and it just felt so thick in there. Yeah. So I used the spray and it just cleared right up. Huh?
Yeah, right. And one thing is the argument, the human emotions, and the second thing is, in an office we have so much technology, right? And what it does, it sucks all the air and good energy out. I mean, if you feel the energy, right, there's a difference between, let's say, when you walk from a spa or a beautiful home to an office, especially a busy office. I mean, there are better, but overall, when you have a lot of computers, a lot of phones, the electromagnetic field is very high. That sucks all the good energy. So
yes,
that's where
true.
It's good to clear the energy more often.
Exactly. Let's see. I did have one other question. I'm sorry. It's giving me just 1 second. Health.
We can talk about bedrooms. I think that would interest people, about health and bedrooms.
Okay. Yes. Let's do that.
See if you have a better one. Yeah. Because health would be the main priority in applying Feng Shui. If you're just beginning, health and well-being, so that your energy feels calm and harmonious and happy. And bedrooms, from my long years of consulting, I haven't seen that many good bedrooms, unfortunately, which sounds sad or funny. Yes, I would see many beautiful homes, amazingly done, but the bedrooms are either sad or just like uncared for, which is in a way it's biggest symptom, I guess. But what I would encourage in the remaining time we have together, I would encourage people to walk into their bedroom and make it as beautiful and lovely and healthy as possible. To nourish themselves first, and then to pay attention to areas that impress other people. So have a healthy bed, have nothing under the bed, clear out the closets, because you sleep there for 8 hours. I mean, your health is so connected to your bedroom. So the next level is the love and relationship and sensuality, but just starting with the health and joy level. So when you wake up, what is the first thing you see, and how do you feel there? Just paying attention to those little things is so important. And I have a lot of information online. It's on nofengshui.com about bedrooms. So I encourage people to create good, beautiful, healthy bedrooms.
Okay, and what was that website again?
No Feng Shui, KNOW,
okay.
FENGSHUI, nofengshui.com.
Okay, we're going to stop right there and take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Hello, and welcome back to Healing at Soul Level. I'm your host, Shawna Williams. Today we were talking to Rodika Tchi about Feng Shui. And right now, I'd like to give more information on how somebody can contact you for services and get more information.
Yes, so I have 3 websites. If people want to know more about Feng Shui, or to receive the newsletter, I send it out every week with different tips. The best website to go is nofengshui.com, which is KNOWFENGSHUI.com. Then the books I mentioned, the ebooks, are on the website under my name, which is rodikatchi.com. RODIKATCHI.com. And the consulting services, I do long distance work as well as in person, are on Tchi Consulting.com. It's TCHIconsulting.com.
Okay, that's 3
websites. From reading free tips to receiving a newsletter to consultation, it's all there.
That's great. I didn't go to rodikatchi.com, but I went to the other 2, and yeah, there's a lot of information on both of those actually. So what
it's
is
a passion of mine? So.
yeah. So what is a typical session like? Like what could somebody expect whenever they contact you for a session?
It depends if it's in person or long distance. So if it's in person, I need the floor plan, the date of birth, and then we schedule the consultation. And there's a lot of hands-on work. Basically I come into the space, right, and we change the space. Or at least they get a very clear guidance on how to change it in those 4 or 6 hours. And the long distance Feng Shui consultation takes a bit more work, or way more work. This is where the client has to send me not only the floor plan and the date of birth, but a lot of pictures and videos. So basically step-by-step videos and pictures that give me a very good idea of their space. And it's a bit more work on me too, because I have to really, be there and feel it. But I've done it all over the world. I have clients in Italy and Greece and Dubai and everywhere. So it works, but it's much more work on it on both sides, client side and my side.
Right.
But either long person or long distance, both of them are focused on change. So we work with what the client wants to achieve, where they are now and where they want to be. And I've done it for a long time, so it's usually once I'm there, or once I've done through long distance, through analyzing all the materials, from there it's all really quick and lots of changes.
Yes. Sorry. Okay. I wasn't sure if you had stopped at that time. It seemed like it faded out just a little bit.
I know,
So,
'cause I
yes.
think my sound is a bit goes on and off. So no, it's and I do new home consultation. Let's say if people want to buy a new home and they're not sure, so they can send me several floor plans. I can see which one is a better match. I do consultations for houses that don't sell. Let's say if there's a house that is so stubborn, doesn't sell, for some reason, and I do that too, because there is usually some energy blocked there that has to move. So it's a new house sale. It can be real estate development when you're just building the house.
Okay. Well, that's all good information. I thank you so much for being on my show today and sharing all of your knowledge about Feng Shui. Mm-hmm. And I'm just so glad that you were here. Okay.
Thank you, Shawna. Thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure.
Tune in next week to hear about color healing with my guest, Alejandria. You've been listening to Healing at Soul Level, and I'm your host, Shawna Williams. Thank you for tuning in. Love and light.
This has been Healing at Soul Level with host Shawna Williams. Listen each week as Shawna will help you discover the different healing modalities and how to use them in your everyday life, right here on Shawna Williams' Healing at Soul Level.